Um, Ken was an emergency room doctor in Japan before, and Ken right now is heading up, um, I should say, like an NGO of sorts in London, but also they are a political group. Um, but it's kind of complicated. It's called Happy Science, and some people with faith-based background definitely you look at things from a higher being perspective. So Ken, it's good to have you appearing at my channel, which is the Edchin channel. It's good to get connected through um, social media. Yeah, and like under the NSO national security law, I have a certain, I cannot be as outspoken as before, but you can say whatever you want to say. Now, I guess for the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, let's talk a little bit about the US election that just got finished not too long ago. President Donald Trump will file a lawsuit in some states. Some people, especially in Hong Kong, they got a little bit disappointed about the results. Not necessarily because they have a say or they can vote, but with the enactment of the national security law, everyone becomes kind of like a spectator of sorts looking into the US election as if they could participate. But the result came out. Some people say, the votes should be recounted because there are some issues in some states. But then we should let the American people decide. Now, you come from a different angle. You were an emergency room doctor, and then you kind of find your higher calling in other things. Now, I remember Dr. Song Yat-sen back over 100 years ago, the founding father of modern China, was trained as a physician, but then he left medicine and do something else, became a revolutionary. Now, you're not a revolutionary, but you have definitely a higher or a different calling now. And I know you last year because of the social movement in Hong Kong. So maybe just instead of me just blasting all the introduction, let you do the introduction yourself. What are you doing now, Ken? Let the audience in Hong Kong and outside of Hong Kong know Happy Science and a little bit about you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for inviting me to your program. Can you hear me enough?
Yes, very clear.
Okay. Good. Yeah. My name is Ken. I'm a staff member of Happy Science, and I'm currently regional director of Happy Science Europe and as well as Happy Science Africa. And our purpose is to bring democracy, freedom, and faith in God to each and every country, each and every people. And so for this purpose, I have been in Hong Kong last year for a few months and worked together with other democracy activists, including Ed as well. And about this US presidential election, we have been supporting Trump as the next president because according to the spiritual investigation of Happy Science, in his past life, Trump was the George Washington, the first president of the United States. And in this life, his mission is to collapse Chinese Communist Party and bring peace and democracy to the world, to peace and prosperity to the world. And he exactly understands what his mission is. So in the first election, we also supported Trump, and he won the election. And this time, if he continues another 4 years, definitely he will complete his mission, and Xi Jinping will definitely ousted from his position, and Xi Jinping will collapse. Yeah. But what we are seeing now is unprecedented election fraud. And I'm so disappointed at the mass media of the United States because they don't report what they should report. Now the number of victims of COVID-19 in the United States is more than 200,000. Yeah? It's almost a war. But they don't report exactly where the virus came from, who created this virus. But what they did is just try to drag Trump down. But if Trump lost the election, if Trump loses the election, it means United States lost the war with China. China is the winner of this war. So it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
Now, it must be very tough right now because it seems like some of the world leaders have already congratulated Joe Biden as the president-elect, same as Kamala Harris as the VP-elect. And they would swear in on January 20th if things go okay. But we also understand that things could change without warning, and Donald Trump is very unpredictable. Lawsuits are being filed in some states, and we still have more than 100 days to go before the swearing of the next US president. And also under the US Constitution, if by January 20th, the president and the vice president cannot be confirmed, there's a chance that the Speaker of the House could be the interim president as well, which is Nancy Pelosi, which is a Democrat. So a lot of theories, and also, as you alluded to earlier, the counting of the votes, the ballots, has been questionable. We have seen stories and also through the social media about how the tickets were treated, dumped, in different shapes or form, and then some sort of investigation in some states are justified.
Yeah.
Now, I guess your group stance, which is Happy Science, you mentioned that since you come from more of a religious, more of a higher being type of background or mission. I don't know how to describe your group, but also you are a political group. You support democracy, but also you come from a spiritual perspective. You mentioned Donald Trump personified George Washington. Is that what you said?
Yeah, George Washington.
Yeah.
George Washington, who led the United States to the independence and the first president.
Yeah, the founding president.
Yeah, he was reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if Trump could have a second term, that would crush the CCP.
Yeah.
President Xi Jinping. That's what you guys were forecasting.
He himself is so determined.
That Donald Trump is so determined to kick out.
Actually, we published the spiritual messages from the Guardian Spirit of Donald Trump to disclose what he is thinking in his mind.
Okay, I see.
So he is clearly understand he is the one who was chosen by God as the leader of the United States, to bring prosperity to the world.
Now I understand, like, people with strong faith, they do persist, and then they hang on to what they believe in, just like the Epoch Times. Even, and you know the Epoch Times, right? The people who practice Falun Gong. They after the Trump loss, so to speak, they still think that it is important to support their stance. The stance is that I think they do support Donald Trump as well, and then they want to wait till the end, at least until the court decides whether there's a final verdict, right?
What?
So whether there's a final verdict on
Final
each state that they contested, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
is that what you believe in too, or your group?
Yeah.
Wait till the final
Well-
verdict for each state that is questionable, that Trump has filed a lawsuit against. Is that what your group Happy Science believe in too? Fight
Yeah,
till
we
the
are
end.
still we are still supporting Donald Trump
Right.
and his victory. Yeah, because the Supreme Court will give the final result.
Ruling. Yes.
Yeah, but the decision of the Supreme Court might be influenced by the public opinion.
Right.
Yeah, so that what is important is still we have to spread our opinion and influence the people in the United States. True enemy is not Trump. Yeah, I'd like to say to the people of anti-Trump, but true enemy is not Trump. True enemy is CCP. Yeah. If Trump lost, that means United States lost in the war against China, biological war.
What about Joe Biden if ultimately he becomes the president on January 20th, and it is very likely that he will become president, but also I see there's a lot of conspiracy theories saying that Joe Biden is already 78, and then Kamala Harris will just be the next female president very soon. But conspiracies is conspiracies. But then, what do you think about that?
Yeah, according to the spiritual investigation of Happy Science, the past life of Joe Biden was the only sheriff of a small town. He's just ordinary person, not like Donald Trump.
Which is a George Washington, right?
No, yeah, Trump was George Washington, but Biden was just ordinary person,
right?
The sheriff of the small town in his past life, a few hundred years ago, and so he's just mediocre. And as everyone knows that he is bribed by China, and if he becomes a president of the United States, he will be the puppet of China. He cannot do anything against China. And originally he is from Ireland, and he is opposing the Brexit. So the Boris Johnson will not work together with Joe Biden. So I'm also worried about the Hong Kong people in United Kingdom as well, if Biden becomes president.
I'm sure you know, since you care a lot about what's going on in Hong Kong, you have been to Hong Kong so many times and you stayed for so many days last year, that Hong Kong people with BNO passports and also Hong Kong people with the Hong Kong SAR passports, if they were born like before 1997 in Hong Kong, they could actually move to the UK next year, as early as like January. But from your religious belief, which is Happy Science, do you think that's the ultimate destiny of Hong Kong people too, is to build another Hong Kong in the UK? Maybe just like Tibet, like the old Tibet, it's gone, and then Tibet was invaded Now, 1/4 of the China's so-called map used to be Tibet, right? And then the Tibet right now, it's in Darasala, the
Mm.
government in exile, and also in Flushing, New York, in Toronto. That's the 80,000 Tibetans who left and then repopulated. And then the 4 or 5 million inside China, they were um, persecuted, and then more than 1.8 million people got executed through genocide of sorts, right? I have already talked to a lot of people about since the national security law was enacted, a lot of people are determined to leave anyways. So out of the 7.5 million population, even the UK predicted 1/7 of those will be moving to the UK. So 1 million is not a small population. And then the rest will be going to the other Five Eyes countries, Canada, Australia, maybe a little bit of New Zealand, and the US. Do you think the fate of Hong Kong people will be like the Israelites, which take
No,
2,000 years for them to come back and reclaim Hong Kong? You know the song, which I cannot sing right now, right?
yeah. Our vision is very clear. No matter if next president will Trump or Biden, our vision is very clear. The Hong Kong should be the homeland of all Hong Kong people, and the Tibet, Uyghur, and South Mongolia should get independent, and China will become democratic country. China might be divided into several different countries. It's possible, but anyway, soon or later, China will be a democratic country, and all Hong Kong people outside Hong Kong, they will return to their homeland happily in near future.
Even,
This is
yeah. I just want to
this
make
is
one point, Ken, if I may,
okay.
and then let you speak. Even before, like Mao Zedong, the founder of the CCP, before he grabbed power, in his propaganda, he said that what the CCP needed at that time, that was before 1949, he said very clearly, what they need was democracy. And of course, when he gained power, he crushed all his opponents, right? And then after 4 or 5 generations of CCP rule, it seems like things might prosper from an economic perspective, but from a human rights perspective, definitely Hong Kong people are in exodus. And also you mentioned the different areas too, Tibet, the Uyghurs in Xinjiang, in Inner Mongolia as well. So so from your religion's perspective, you think that China will be free one day, but
Yeah. But it's as you understand, it's not so easy because in long history, China has not had any democracy. Yeah. So the people don't understand what democracy actually is. So after CCP collapsed, China needs the help of the people from outside who already experienced democracy, like Hong Kong people. So, as I said before, Hong Kong should be the leader of China. Hong Kong should teach the people in China what democracy actually is. And also other Chinese people from now living outside, they also should go back to their homeland and work together with the people in the mainland to democratize Chinese country, their homeland.
right. So when we are feeling lost, especially now in Hong Kong with the national security law, there are comments that I cannot make anymore. That's why we have this interview format. And then, of course, I know how I feel, being entrapped, having a mouth that I cannot speak certain things because of this silly thing called the NSL. And then it is sad, and I'm sure you know that there were like 12 demonstrators who were
Yeah.
detained in China. They tried to flee to Taiwan, and then we don't even know where they are. But then again, even we have to rely on the other countries, like Chinese and non-Chinese living outside of Hong Kong to help us spread the message of democracy and say SOS to those 12. So it's really pretty much we're living in an unprecedented time right now.
Yeah. So I like to say to the people in Hong Kong, it is darkest. It is always darkest before dawn. Yeah. So now is the darkest time, but dawn is at hand. The day will come, definitely come.
Right. Well, even though we come from different faith background, I am Christian. Some people are Catholic from my audience. Some are Buddhists. You are from the happy science camp. But I think, there's one common goal, common thing. It's we all believe in truth and believe in kindness, not cruelty, not in torturing people, but we believe faith would prevail ultimately. If we believe, in goodness. I think that's the most important thing.
Yes, we believe all human beings are children of God, same God.
Right.
So this is the reason why. This is the reason of our dignity, human dignity. So all people should have freedom and democracy.
Right. I'm gonna end this recording now, but I'm gonna chat with you after I stop this recording.